Hello, everyone. Happy new month to every one of us. When I posted a video about the landing of the U.S. armies and the rest of them strategically positioned to embark on their operations and rescue mission for all Nigerians, targeting most especially the Islamic State of West African Province, the Al-Qaeda-linked groups, terrorist groups, and the rest of them ravaging, killing, adopting, invading churches, backing on the genocide, sustained genocide against Christians, and of course, annihilation and killing of other minority groups and the rest of them. Some people say it's AI that is lie, and the rest of them. Some people are so daft, naive to the point that they don't believe the truth. And when even this truth is being very clear and stated at them, they will choose to turn their face and mind against the truth. They adopt what is false and lie. Today, it's been confirmed that the United States U.S. spy planes have been hovering over the entire northern region, of course, in what is called the reconnaissance and of course, operations and the rest of them, monitoring the in and out and whatever locations or base of these people. And some will be living in denial, even when it is staring at them. I don't know, whatever will be his personal or as religious sentiments or whatever ethnic sentiment they are weeping, but the truth could no longer be denied. The U.S. is currently in Nigeria and they have taken over the airspace of the northern region and possibly they are in dominance. The airspace belongs to the U.S. and once the congressmen, which are the lawmakers of the United States, has given that order by a consensus vote, an overwhelming vote of 285 as against 300 and something, that is quite interesting. So they have the majority to have supported the military oppression. So it doesn't matter whatever any other country says about that. Once the lawmakers backs the action of Donald Trump, then it is inevitable. It is something that has come to stay. It is no more going area because there is no any discrepancy, there is no any contradiction. Just as what happened in the United States, in the eve of the Thanksgiving, you saw how a terrorist link organization or group from Afghan shot one of the guard, presidential, two of the presidential guards, one which has been confirmed dead. And that is terror being imported. So if the US failed to address this terror in Nigeria and West Africa, possibly it will one day be imported to the US. So it is all about their international interests and they have to fight. Imagine an Afghan nationalist coming to US to take the life of two national guards. It is rather unfortunate. How did it get there? How did the US become so porous and not are able to pick up those activities and the monitoring of these movements? And today they have taken a very stringent decision to safeguard the US. One of them is by launching attack against the terrorist formations in Nigeria to protect their own citizens against any possible attacks. Because when you fail to address that insecurity, it might one day be imported to you. Just as one of them, as it is Sokoto, Kabiru Sokoto, that attempted to hijack a plane. You know what that means? That would have cost certain U.S. nationals' life. That is to tell you that wherever there is insecurity or terrorism, it should be considered as a global concern. And every well-meaning society or individuals must vehemently kick against that. Perhaps this could have informed the recent U.S. plane conducting reconnaissance and the rest of the operations. And some people will come and deny this. What a shame, what an irony, what a disturbing development. Whatever be the case, whether they decide or resort to live in denial, but the reality could no longer be wished away. And that is just the case. Thus, Nigerians of course, need help. Of course, well pronounced, well correct, just as the former head of state and two-term executive president of Nigeria in the person of Olusegun Obasanjo said, there's nothing wrong should Nigeria seek for external help because that is what they needed at this time. And as they support the military formation has been infiltrated. Yes, when you have people insider within the military cycle being informant to the terrorists, sabotaging the intelligence of the defense force and the rest of them, which has weakened the operations of the military. You've seen often times where they have been ambushed and taken down at will. I mean, you begin to ask what is happening. Deploying unmanned military vehicles against a sovereign state within the same confinement or defined territory of the same sovereign state that have been compromised, whether you like it or not, with these current realities even being admitted by the service chiefs that the people invading Nigeria and killing Nigerians are not Nigerians. What they are saying in terms of clarity of the legal position is that the sovereignty of the Nigerian state has been compromised. Because if you say that aliens, foreigners coming, invading your territory, killing your supposed citizens and getting away with that, it means there is a collapse of the national security, which will greatly or adversely affect the existence and the security of all Nigerians. So that is just what is playing out. And some persons have said, not all Christians, the majority of Muslims are being killed. More Muslims are being killed than the Christians. Are you being realistic or trying to justify or what is not uh, realistic, if whether they are Christians or atheists or whatever they profess to be, are being killed? Are they not Nigerian citizens or in residents within the Nigeria? What right, of course, justifies the death, the reckless death and cruel death of citizens? So isn't that enough ground for international community to speak up? It's rather unfortunate. Does those Muslims deserve to die in such cruel and disgusting manner? Their own settlers, ancestral homes have been overrun, their own farms have been intentionally destroyed, and I mean, destruction be hauled on them intentionally. You see the Fulanis making videos, taking their cattle into farmland belonging to the Hausas and threatening to deal with them, to pursue them from their own ancestral homes and overrun those. I mean, these are just to say the least, or whatever that has been going on. It is anti-humanity, forcing people out of their farms and destroying their life source of livelihood. Of course, the result is a existential threat, and that should be considered as genocide. Whatever that poses a grievous threat to the life of the existence of the people. So these are more justifications, reason why the Americans have, after robust uh, coordinations and investigations, have come to say, no, we must contend with this because it is out of place and it has been registered that this is genocide. There is nothing anyone can do about that. You know, of recent, we've seen threats by from vested interests, according to Reverend that Chomo, who said that some bounty has been placed on him that by the Boko Haram, that anybody that kills him first will be rewarded. But the U.S. Congress have given their own stance that the government of Nigeria must be held responsible whatever happens to, excuse me, to Reverend Dachomo. Yes, that is just the case. And he also alleged that certain vested interests from the federal government, from the government, is threatening to silence his voice. It's rather unfortunate his media handles has been taken down. I don't know why Facebook is indulging in such level of rascality and recklessness as trying to silence the voice of the people. Even my own page handle has been taken down by Facebook. and possibly it is not unfortunate, whatever be the case, the people are speaking against, not because they are promoting such injustice, but they are calling for an end to the injustice, and you are silencing their voice. Why all these things are going on? You have been enjoying the killings and the agonies of the people being expressed. What an irony. Very unfortunate, honestly. Now, it is very clear for those who cares to know why this insecurity all is aimed at Islamization or and exclusive conquest and dominance of certain vested interests of ethnic nationality, not just because it has to do with Islam, but hiding under the cover of Islam. Why should a Muslim Kanuri man, a Hausa man, be killed by the same assailants? Why? And their families, their women being raped, kidnapped, abducted, forced into unwilling or forced marriage, and the rest of them. Why? If it is on the basis of religion. The same people considers the Yoruba Islamic faithfuls as 50 Muslims that does all sorts of. I mean, it's quite very understandable. It doesn't very disturbing. It doesn't add up. We begin to ask and question at the veracity of these assertions and those uh, motives behind the push, which has become very clear and vivid that people will no longer deny the realities. Whether America will come or not is no longer an opinion, of course, of any individual. The entire Congress have given the overwhelming verdict or vote supporting, backing the actions of Donald Trump by law. You know what that means? They can go at all length to make sure that these people are brought to justice. There is no going back again. Once the law backs their actions, you know what that means? Both their sponsors, both anybody linked, connected, sympathizers must have questions to answer when the deals are down. That is just the implications, and that have sent a very serious signal and panic in the camp of the supposed enemies, knowing fully well that their time is numbered, and eventually all their propagandas being pushed out there, false narratives, taking the hood, control the arguments, the narrative and the rest of them failed, whereas there are overwhelming evidence. See, Gumi are being more concerned about the attackers than the victims. What an irony of a country prioritizing the welfare of the attackers rather than considering their victims. It is really unfortunate. That is to tell you there is something very serious that is going on. Well, that shouldn't be a surprise, but sadly, certain vested interests in the southern region are playing to the gallery for whatever reasons uh, they want to achieve or remain relevant in the course of their political pursuit. But whatever happens today, Tinubu administration is no longer shouting APC or defections. And now he's faced with the realities staring at them. And the more people are being kidnapped and the rest of them, you begin to ask, so what a country, what is the grand commander of the armed forces and the president of Nigeria doing? Who promised security and the rest of them to Nigerians? Unfortunately, Nigerians are no longer just insecure, but hungry and shouting a bit by me. The hunger is escalating and unfortunately um, being worsened by the state of insecurity. The southwestern governors you saw of recent, they convened a national security, emergency security to address the issues and response possibly on how to address this rising menace are staring at them. Some have lived in denial or denying the reality because of their political interests, and now they think they have that, haven't achieved that political interest. Possibly is another issue to contend with, battling with survival of their regions. No region is left out, regardless of whether they are living in the reality of the time or denying such events and happenings is immaterial. But what matters is America possibly will be addressing holistically uh, whatever may have transpired in the course of time. And I know the perpetrators that could not be the striving of terrorism without sponsors. So who are those sponsors? As US has given ultimatum, Nigeria published the list of the sponsors of terrorism. And Tinubu is still dragging his feet on this subject issue. Could that be considered that Tinubu might possibly be having certain a skeleton, of course, in his cupboard? Or could it be that he's been intimidated or whatever as the Grand Commander of the Armed Forces and the Chief Executive President of the Nigerian state? Well, all the time will reveal otherwise. But then the world is watching, as US have said, publish the list of the terrorists, financial of terrorism, or sponsors, disarm, dislodge the terrorists, which is practically impossible for Tinubu to do because there is no political will on that aspect. And I've given reasons why the terrorists or the bandits could not be attacked. Whatever reasons given or tendered is inconsequential and does not add up. These are people who have threatened the life, who have taken the lives and disrupted several communities, overrun the indigenous communities of these Nigerian citizens, and yet within the defined territory known as Nigeria, and yet the government saddled with the responsibility that took an oath of allegiance to protect life and properties of the people. I mean, only I don't even, it doesn't add up. I mean, what is the rationale or this behind this indecisiveness on the part of the government? The US have said, okay, if you are not against, if you are not supporting terrorism, if you say you are fighting against terrorism, now you have the list of the sponsors of terror in your country. List them, publish them, let it become a public notice. Let people get to know who is involved. And you are dragging your feet. Could it be that you are an accomplice? Whatever happens, let us not just be very fast to get into that conclusion. But whatever happens, the world, the Nigerians are impatient, are watching, the world is watching, while America is observing and taking every cognizance of whatever may be transpiring. Of course, I understood they have the robust network and the capacity to track and trail whatever events that is going on. Only time will reveal the outcome of this. But it appears there is heightened tension within Nigeria about a possible war or crisis that may erupt in the course of this. Not just against the terrorists, because Americans are here to solve that problem once and for all. But then, what happens within the indigenous ethnic nationalities with certain vested interests incite them into riot, which we don't pray for or hope for, and we pray for peace and tranquility to define the order of the day, while the perpetrators of such heinous crime and sponsor of the killings of supposed innocent Nigerians should be brought to justice. What do you think about this? In case you're watching us or joining us for the first time, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more political discourse. Let me have your own take via the comment section. What do you think is the way forward? Thanks, and hopefully we'll meet you in the next edition. Bye for now.